I mean, it was no Lego Batman movie, but whatever, you know, it's fine. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so sorry for the terrible lighting right now. At this point, there's basically nothing I can do about it. So I recently saw Little Women and I wanted to make a video talking about it because this movie actually speaks to me. I know I'm constantly making videos talking about movies that I like, and I feel like in all of them I'm just kind of saying the same things over and over again, like, this is a good movie, you'll like it, you'll love it, go watch it, subscribe, like this video, you know, that type of thing. But when I say that I love this movie, I mean it. I have seen pretty much every single adaptation of Little Women. I've read the book multiple times. I know it. Like, I know what I'm talking about. You can trust me. This version was perfect. I can't think of a single thing about this movie that I didn't like. And that's unusual because my favorite movie is Ella Enchanted 2004, so you can tell that I have high standards. So like I mentioned earlier, I've seen pretty much every adaptation of Little Women, which means that there are quite a few. Do I think that it's time to stop making Little Women adaptations and move on to something else? Yes. Does that mean that I'm not gonna keep going and watching them because, you know, why not? You know, I'm still gonna watch them. So yes, I feel like it's time to stop, but also if you're gonna make it, at least make it good, and that's what Greta did with this. It was beautiful. The first thing that I really liked about it was that it is not like the other Little Women. It's special. No, I liked the way that they told the story while still keeping faithful to the book, but making it fresh. Like, so it was told, basically it was told backwards, so it was like, it starts backwards, so it's like Jo going to get her book published, and then all of the like scenes, you know, that you think of from Little Women, like the iconic scenes, were all kind of told as like flashbacks almost, but like in her book, if that makes sense. And I really liked how they did that because that was something that wasn't in the other Little Women movies, and I think this definitely helped change it up so it didn't just feel like, oh, it's just another Little Women, you know, if that makes sense. The overall aesthetic of this movie is amazing. I saw someone on Tumblr, I think, compare this movie to Joe Wright's Pride and Prejudice, and I think that is a really good example of just the aesthetic. Think like Lady Bird and Pride and Prejudice if they had a baby. This is what it would be. Light, flowy, floral, soft aesthetic going on, but at the same time it's still, it kind of has this vibe of like a coming of age story like Lady Bird. It's got a lot of the same actors, you know, and it's the same director, but it still feels like its own thing. But you could kind of feel the Lady Bird vibes from Jo. I want to talk about the characters because I feel like every version of Little Women does something different with each of the characters, which I do like, but I feel like out of all the versions that I've seen, this movie really did the most with Amy's character. So Amy is kind of like the Lydia Bennet, if we're gonna keep going with Pride and Prejudice. She just was annoying. I never liked her. She always just seemed like kind of the worst, and her agreeing to marry Laurie always just kind of felt like her way of getting back at Jo. However, in this movie, she starts off, you know, an annoying little kid, and then you see how she grows up and becomes much better. And the whole thing with Laurie, I really liked how they handled it. So instead of her, you know, going with Laurie as kind of a way to get back at Jo, or just because she was like young and stupid, she goes with him because she actually did love him. And so I really, 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 really stan that. And yeah. Meg doesn't really do a whole lot in the movie. Basically just Emma Watson wearing pretty dresses, which I'm not gonna complain. Beth was also, oh boy, I don't remember any version of Little Women hitting this hard. Like, this actually, like, I don't want to spoil anything if you guys haven't seen the movie or read the book, but like, Beth is going to make you cry. Like, just warning you. And then Jo, I really, really liked Saoirse Ronan as Jo. I think my favorite version of Jo will always be Maya Hawke's version. For some reason, Jo, I just really, really relate to her, and like, for some reason that version I like just relate to the most. However, I do really like Saoirse Ronan's Jo. She was everything that I could have hoped for. She's an amazing actress. We stan. 10 out of 10. So those were all of the Little Women. My one complaint with this movie is I didn't really like Laura Dern as Marmee. I like Laura Dern. I just feel like she didn't really fit that role. So that's really the only thing. Timothée Chalamet. Where do I even begin? This boy. This boy, literally, I don't know what it is. Why do we all love him so much? He's just perfect. Like, I don't know why, but he did it. I think that this was definitely my favorite portrayal of Laurie. I really liked how it did seem more like he was, you know, kind of all their friend. All their friend? Does that even work? He was like their friend, and less of like a man and more like a boy, if that makes sense. I really liked the friendship between all of them and Laurie. I also like the fact that he was basically just kind of horny for all of them, and like that kind of sent me. I really loved this scene, like not loved, but I thought it was a good scene when Jo like tells him like she doesn't want to marry him. That scene was really, really good acting, quality content. It was so painful because you feel bad for both of them. Like, even though Laurie is like kind of immature and like they wouldn't have worked out, and like, you know, you still feel bad for him because like that sucks. And you feel bad for her too, because like when you're in that position, which some of us have been in, okay, anyway, when you're in that position, it's really awkward and uncomfortable, and you don't want to hurt somebody who you think is your friend or who you know is your friend. Like, oof, yeah, please. I also thought it was interesting how she writes him the letter and kind of is doubting herself afterwards, like thinking maybe I do actually love him, and you're kind of like, maybe she did, maybe she didn't. I just thought that was interesting because it's just so different from like the Winona Ryder version, where the Winona Ryder version I feel like definitely was more like they were in love, but in this version it's kind of like, are they not? Question mark, question mark. I also really like the ending, which I won't spoil. I know some people didn't like it, but I thought that it was an interesting way of handling the marriage that happens between certain characters, because I always felt like that was really random and unnecessary, and I'm glad that like the movie thought that was unnecessary. So anyway, there were my thoughts. You may notice that I'm in a different location. I'm finally back at home for a little bit before I have to go back to college and suffer for a couple more months. Yeah, so I'm gonna be like experimenting with this background, I think, for my videos when I film them here, because I kind of like it better. I did some like rearranging. I used to have a huge Doctor Who poster back here, and I took it down because I was like, you know what? Let's just change things up a bit, you know? I love Doctor Who, but I also love not having a huge Doctor Who poster on my wall, you know? So I took it down. I put up some pop figures that I got for Christmas. I got Poe and then Finn. And then I also got this like moon succulent thingy from Five Below, where I also got these shelves. So, oh yeah, and then I have my art. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment down below telling me which version of Pride and Prejudice, wow, which version of Little Women is your favorite. Did you see this one? And what were your thoughts? I think this is probably my favorite adaptation of it so far, but I just really like the BBC 2017 miniseries, and I feel like nobody talks about that one, so go watch that one and then watch this one. And yeah, anyway, see you all later. Bye.